Hello, people. Uh, okay, so we're going to have some issues today, maybe. As you guys know, Danny lives where the storm came in. So there might be interference on his today. We're having some issues with his connection. So you guys are going to have to tough it out today so we can give you a show. We were thinking about doing the show another time, but you know what? We decided we're going to do the show like this. Danny will do the best he can. You got to remember, the area that he lives just got hit with the hurricane. He's lucky he has electricity. He's lucky that he has any of that stuff. Can you guys, if you guys have any trouble hearing me out there, any echo, let me know. But we're going to do the best we can. Danny, how you doing?
Good, buddy. How are you?
As you can see, Danny's dragging right there, but that is because of the storm. I'm going to see some of these names in here. Okay, the 49 Morada, how you doing? Backseat Jimmy, Des Guns. David Cameron, Toxic Masculinity. Buffalo Bill, how you doing? Philip Spade. Casper, how you doing? Casper says, I've got a tranny problem, and it ain't my car. Well, that's a famous quote that Tony Pizza made. Okay, Marie Fricks, Philip, Richie Baldessari. Okay, let's see who else is here. Okay, Irish Mob, Seymour Scagnetti, Marine Frick, Angela. How you doing, Angela? Good to see you here today. Blacks is here. James Weldon, good to see you. Jane Perry, how you doing? Heather Dane, Ken Knief from Connecticut. Hey, Ken, I'm glad that you told us where you're from. Okay, Redzilla AMA, the real king of Mobtube. Okay. Down Neck Newark Bronco and Philip Spade. Now we'll wait for some more people to get in here before we start, but we'll just talk about some basics. Danny, besides the internet issues, what other issues are you having in your area from the hurricane?
There's a lot of flooding. There's some trees down. Some people have no electricity, but I'm fortunate to have it. So that's about it.
Well, you have any flooding in your yard or anything?
I don't, but other people do.
How's the town where you live? Is there any flooding in that?
Minimal, but there is some.
Okay. ELS 1965. How you doing? Angel, it's good to see you here. And Angel, as I was talking about, we're not sure how the signal is going to be today because, as you know, Danny was in the storm, and we decided to do a show anyway. What the hell, right, people? Let's do a show. Okay. So we're going to talk about a certain gangster today, Danny, that was he was made famous by a movie, Donnie Brasco. Before we get into Sonny Black, how accurate do you think the movie Donnie Brasco was?
It wasn't very accurate.
And what would you say were a couple things that they said that weren't true?
Well, I don't know as far as verbiage goes, but a lot of the killing of Trinchera, Giacone, and the other guy, Lefty Ruggiero had nothing to do with that. Santoro had nothing to do with that. They were basically cleanup guys. All they did was come in and clean up the mess. There was guys from Canada that actually committed the murder.
Right.
With the exception of Sal Vitale.
And the movie also showed that it was Lefty Ruggiero that left his watch and stuff, but it wasn't him.
No.
It was Sonny Black.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. And Ruggiero, so he actually went to prison and got out in 1992 and lived to 1994.
Yeah, I believe he passed away from cancer.
Right. He was kind of a celebrity when he got out, and he was, he started dressing weird like a celebrity the last 2 years of his life. Okay.
And just for the record, they really portrayed him, as a stumble bum. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. His reputation preceded him, and he was very well respected, and he was very well liked, believe it or not.
Okay, so we're going to get into. Okay, let me So Michael Madsen played Sonny Black in the movie, right?
Correct.
Okay. And this is basically, we had a great thumbnail with John Gotti in it with Sonny Black in prison. Angel said that she thought it was a different prison. They say it was Greenhaven. Is that picture from Greenhaven or Lewisburg?
No, I believe it is Greenhaven. I believe it is Greenhaven. I don't know if it was Lewisburg, but I could be wrong. I thought I heard something to that effect. But either way, it was one of the either Lewisburg or Greenhaven. John was very, very good friends with Dominick.
And this is the real Sonny Black right here. And that, as people know, that is Joe Pistone, who was Donnie Brasco in the movie, played by Johnny Depp. Okay, let's start. Okay, so let's explain how Sonny Black moved up to become the boss of his neighborhood, basically that part of the family. Danny.
Well, you know, you have to go back. This particular topic we're talking about is pretty in depth. This part of the Bonanno crime family with the American guys and the Zips there's a lot to it. Let's just say that you know, Sonny Black was a very well liked guy. He was a very low key guy. He wasn't the way the movie portrayed him. He was pretty much the opposite. He really didn't. He wasn't with that rah rah stuff. He was very quiet, very well kept. Hung out at his birds with his pigeons on the roof. He also had another club on Graham Avenue called the Withers Club, which was, I believe, 415 Graham Avenue. The Motion Lounge was 420. But he basically became bumped up after the killings. Him and Messino were Stelli loyalists, and
Mike
yeah,
Sabella.
that's Mike Sabella.
He was the head of the family, and they actually knocked him down, right, to a lower rank.
Yeah, he was demoted, and Sonny Black became a captain.
Because Sonny Black was part of the Phil Rastelli sanction. Is that right?
Yeah, him and well, in all honesty, the three captains that were killed were definitely going to try to kill Sonny Black. So Messino and them, they teamed up, and they were definitely Rastelli loyalists.
Okay. We'll get to that. Well, I just want to get to the point.
No.
So people have to understand that Sonny Black, he did work in Florida and then Brooklyn. Is that correct?
Well, no, he obviously worked in Brooklyn, and they went down to Florida because it was easy pickings down there. But they had to sit down with Santo Traficante, who at that particular time was the head of the Traficante crime family in Tampa area and different parts of the county. And they made a sit down. They had a sit down, and Sonny talked to Santo about what he wanted to do there, and Santo welcomed him in as long as he passed on the Schkarol to Traficante. And he opened up a club, King's Court. I believe it was in Hollywood, Florida, which is Pasco County, and they made a lot of money down there. And they also were going to go into Orlando before they got arrested and whatnot. But they did very well for themselves down there.
Now, was the movie says that Joe Pistone, Donnie Brasco was with them at that time? Is that accurate?
I don't know. I've heard yes, I've heard no. So I'm not privy. I can't. I have no idea. To my understanding, he was, but I don't know to what extent.
Okay. And they eventually got arrested down there. What happened to them when they got arrested?
Well, there was obviously a rat that it was depicted in the movie when they were in the jail cell. They were going to find out who the rat was, and obviously we all know that Brasco had a partner that was in the King's Court, and he was the pinnacle of the turnaround for them to get arrested, and that's what happened. And that's where you heard that saying, "I'm going to find out, who did it." That was Lefty Ruggiero. Whether that's true or not, there was definitely a rat. I don't know if it transpired exactly that way, but that was the premise.
And so, okay, so he gets arrested, Sonny Black, and he decides, well, him and his crew come back to Brooklyn, right?
Correct.
And so when he comes back from Brooklyn, he has some enemies that want to take him out. Let's talk about the enemies. Basically, who was the enemy that Sonny Red basically wanted to take him out, right?
Well, yeah, Sonny Red was I believe he was a captain at the time, and he, he had a lot of street cred, and he was definitely a force to be reckoned with. And he was the Zip. They were all Zips. Chinchera, Giacone, they were all Zips. The other faction was, the American per se mafia.
And here's where the movie totally got the shooting wrong. Okay, so Sonny Black knows that him and his crew's going to be whacked. It's pretty much like John Gotti knew that eventually Castellano was going to take him out. So Sonny Black had to make the first move,
and he did.
And so, how did they? Before they got him into where they got him, we're going to explain that it wasn't a house. Where did they talk them into coming to?
It was a social club, 2020 club.
Okay, and there was a lot of people there too when they got there. It wasn't like in the movie where it was in a basement.
No, there was a lot of people on both sides there, different factions, loyalists to Rastelli, and the Zips there and whatnot. And anyway, they they set it up, and they orchestrated the killing there. And the three, if you want me to go into who did it, I can.
Yes. I'll put up, you know what I'll do? I'll put up the faces of the people and just tell me what role they had in the killing. Sal Vitale.
Yeah, Vitale is the one that killed Chinchera, the 400-pound whale, where you heard Ruggiero talk about the blubber from his belly came flying out when he got hit with a shotgun.
And Vito Rizzuto.
Yeah, he was from Rizzuto crime family and allegiance to the Bonanos. He was from Canada.
So you actually had them call down. They got a hold of the Rizzutos in Canada and said, "Look, we could use some of your guys down here for this job."
I think there was a favor, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think they cashed in a favor. Vito came down. He was ultimately convicted. He got 10 years or something like that, but it was a sweet deal that he turned with the government as far as, him going to prison.
Another one of the shooters, am I right here, was Joe Messino?
That's what they say. I don't know if he actually participated, but that's what I read.
Now, didn't Joe Messino okay this to go down?
Well, yeah, Messino and Dominick teamed up, Sonny Black, and they talked it out. And, obviously they talked with Rastelli, and they orchestrated it. But we're missing there was another guy, Manny Ragusa, that was one of the shooters. He was also from Canada, and he's not talked about too often. And there were some other guys that were supposed to be there. Frankie Lino was there. And there was another guy that he's not mentioned at all. He was supposed to be there as well, a guy by the name of Joseph Indelicato.
And how about Joe DeSimone? What was his role in it?
I'm not privy to Joe DeSimone. I don't know what his role was. I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think he had anything to do with it.
And then they had, now in the movie, they have Lefty Rosario there as the main guy.
Yeah, that's not true. Lefty and a few other guys were part of a cleanup crew. There was another guy that was there too, with the last name of Bonaventure. And I don't want anybody to think I'm talking about Caesar. It was another Bonaventure. I don't know necessarily if he was related to Caesar, but there was another guy by the name of Bonaventure that was at the shooting. But Ruggiero and Santoro and some other guys, they were all cleanup. All they did was clean up. That's all they did. Sonny Black was also upstairs when this occurred in the club, and he was also part of the cleanup crew.
Now, what did they do? What is this basic assumption that happened to the bodies of those three guys once they were murdered?
Well, there was they were, one was found in, I think, Staten Island, one was found in Queens, but there was burial grounds. There was a big one, I believe Fountain Avenue. I could be wrong, but I remember reading something to that effect.
What kind of now, once the three captains were killed, was there fear of a war from that faction coming back at them? So basically, they went after the son. Is that correct?
Yeah, Bruno.
Okay, and so explain Bruno's role in this, because in the movie they make him look like an idiot kid.
Bruno was not an idiot kid. Bruno was very diabolical he was a killer. He was involved in the Galante killing in '79, and he was no slouch by any stretch of the imagination. Again, this movie was entertainment for the most part, but there was a lot of inconsistencies with a lot of characters. Benny, all of them, Bruno, all of them. There was a misconception on what roles these guys played.
Okay. Okay. So let's. Okay. So they decide that they're going to kill Bruno, the son, because they don't want the son to get a crew and come back at them.
Well, they were going to kill him because they knew that they're letting one of the loose ends, who's probably the most important one, who was a stone cold killer, was going to revenge his father.
And do you think he would have revenged his father?
100%.
Okay. Okay. So who do they give the contract to kill Bruno?
Well, yeah, like everybody knows, the contract was given to Joe Pistone to go ahead
who
and kill
Donnie
Bruno.
Brasco.
Yeah, Johnny Brasco, and that was his in to become a button, to get his button or to become made member of the mafia. And obviously, this was all FBI surveilled, and they pulled him out obviously before anything would have happened.
Did they arrest Bruno or put him into hiding? The son?
I believe he was taken into custody. I don't know the logistics as far as. I'm sure they brought him in, but he was ultimately let go. He didn't commit a crime.
So, okay, the murders happen. After the murders happen, who takes over?
Messino.
Okay, Messino takes over. And how important is Sonny Black to Messino once Sonny Red's taken out?
Well, you got to remember, if you remember what I said before, them two with Rostelli planned this murder. So Dominick was or Sonny Black was very close with Messino, so they were very good friends.
Okay, and so pretty much wasn't that the Williamsburg part of Brooklyn that
Correct.
that Sonny Black took control of that area, right?
Correct.
Okay, and Messino was basic. Did Messino become the head of the family at that time, or was he still?
I don't know if he became a head of the family. I think he was, he was up there. I don't know if he was a consigliere or an underboss or something to that effect, but he was definitely, up there. Rostelli was still the boss, of course.
And the funny thing about this whole thing, out of those shooters, some of those guys became rats.
Yeah.
Do you know which ones became rats besides?
Well, Sal Vitale obviously became a rat, and he became a rat before Messino, and then obviously Messino followed, and he became one of the biggest cooperating informants in La Cosa Nostra.
And then the feds went to Ruggiero.
Yeah, they went. Yeah,
I'm not going to. Before we get to discuss the Sonny Black killing, they went to Lefty Ruggiero, and they offered him a deal to flip where he did not have to go to prison. And Lefty told him to go to hell.
Yeah, he told him to go fuck himself, something to that effect. Correct.
And he went and did his 20 years. And
well, he was sentenced to 15. I don't know how much I know he got out in the 90s, early 90s. I don't know how much time he did. I'm sure he did at least 10 or 11 years, and he got out.
And he got 92. And but here's what you're talking about. These rats that always talking about. Ruggiero was he was considered part of the murders of the three captains, and he took his time like a man and went to prison.
Absolutely, and again, these guys were cut from a different cloth, and I mean that wholeheartedly. With the exception of Vitale and Messino, but these older guys like Brasco, Sonny Black and Ruggiero, they were different types of guys. They were just they wasn't in their DNA.
And so here and no one thought it was in Messino's DNA either, did they?
Well, obviously not. But again, he was facing a lot of time, and he decided to become a rat, and the rest is history.
Okay, and the three guys, and we're just going to real quickly. I'm going to show you the pictures and just describe what their role was in the family at the time they were killed. First, we'll start with Philip Giacone.
Yeah, he was obviously he was a captain, and he was a very influential member of the Bonanno crime family. He was in a lot of different parts of the Bonanno crime family. He was a loan shark. He was into union shakedowns, all kinds of stuff.
And let's go with this is the big guy, the 400-pound guy, right?
Yeah, he was another one. He was very well liked, to my understanding. He had a big crew, and he was a moneymaker. His wife was as tough as he was,
Okay,
and that's
and
Whack Whack. That's Anthony Delicato, aka Bruno, or he
that's
had
the
a nickname.
son.
Yeah, he just got out a couple of years ago, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, and so that's the son. And in the movie, they make him look like an idiot kid, on the boat, and he was a stone cold killer.
Bona
Now,
fide tough guy. Yep.
so you're talking that the three captains are killed here, and they have crews that really like them.
Correct.
Why do you think those crews decided not to fight back?
Well, because it was a losing battle. Listen, it's all politics, just like it is in the real world. They're going to go to where their bread is buttered. And they had no way of, defeating that faction. Sonny Black and Messino struck first, and everybody fell into place, per se, even Bruno.
Yeah. So basically, did Bruno come back to the family when he got out of jail after?
Yeah, he was very instrumental in the family, even after this. He went to prison. He had a 40-year sentence, but this guy was a stone cold killer. He was a complete Cosa Nostra wise guy, tough guy, whatever you want to call him. And that's why they even gave him the nickname Whack Whack, because this guy would kill anything. He'd kill a fucking squirrel in a fucking park.
Well, and it's funny though, because let's see what Explosive says. Bruno was Cosa Nostra 100. Indelicato was Cosa Nostra 100%. The guy was involved in the Carmine Galante boss hit. How was he involved in that famous hit?
Well, he was part of that crew there. That Baldo Amato and Bonaventure. He was in part of all that. He was right up in there with them guys.
And he said they killed his father. He understood what
Cosa Nostra. You got to, it was political, and he took his lumps, and he knew, that this was Cosa Nostra. This is what happens.
And Joe Pistone, Johnny, that picture, man. Okay, was known for his embellishment. But you know what? You could say what you want about Donnie Brasco, but the fact of the matter is, he still went undercover for 6 years.
Well, you've also got to remember too, Lee, and everybody that's listening. He was just as much as part of La Cosa Nostra as a made man. He fell into that life. Even though he was an agent, he actually thought he was a wise guy. He really did. He thought he was a wise guy. He actually became part of what he didn't want to become.
And how do you think he felt knowing that him coming out like that was going to cause it? See, in the movie they have him closer to Lefty Guns or Dario, but he was actually closer to Sonny Black.
Yeah, he was. Listen, there's a lot of inconsistencies in the story, and again, I'm not going to keep going, but the fact of the matter is that Joe Pistone or Donnie Brasco thought he was a tough guy, thought he was a wise guy. He started emulating these guys. And he talked very well about a lot of them. Like you would talk to a guy you knew for 30 years. He really liked these guys, and he said that it's unfortunate that I had to do what I had to do, because he was on real good, friendly brother terms with these guys, and they thought he was going to be a legitimate wise guy.
So what he did is after the murders, okay, after they pulled Bruno in, they told Donnie Brasco, "You're coming out."
Yeah, he didn't want to come out.
He didn't.
He wanted to stay in. Yeah.
So when they pulled him out, that sealed the fate for Sonny Black, because basically Joe Messino said he didn't want to kill him, but he had no choice.
Well, listen, I don't know how you guys interpret what happened to Sonny Black, if you guys are even privy what happened to him, but you can call the guy whatever you want. But the guy lived La Cosa Nostra to the T. He knew he was going to get killed. And he went there like a man and took his lumps. And I mean, as crazy as that may sound, and people say, how the fuck, why didn't you just run? Because he didn't know anything. He knew that that's what was going to happen. And he went and he got killed.
So on August 17th, 1981, he was called for.
And he got killed. That's right.
They shot. A matter of fact, Sammy Gravano told his story, and it is true. One of the times Sammy actually told the truth. that he was shot in the arm, and they pushed him down the stairs. And then he turned around. What did he say to the guy that shot him?
Yeah, you know what he said. He said, "Make this one count," or something like that.
Yeah,
and he killed him.
And it's unfortunate because they killed him. They didn't really want to kill him, but he did not. He didn't even believe that Joe Pistone was undercover, did he?
I don't think he believed it. I really don't think he believed it to the end. I think he, in his mind, he thought that the government was trying to pull one over on him. In other words, trying to make him believe that Brasco was actually an agent. He couldn't fathom that fact. I just want to put a little side note. There's, I'm not going to say her name, but Sonny Black's daughter is on Facebook, and obviously she doesn't have the same last name as him. But I was lucky enough to talk to her last year for about 10 minutes, and she was a very interesting woman, and she really painted her father with a different picture, and it was nice to hear what she had to say about her dad.
And okay, so and people, it's a tough life. We talked about Bill Catullo and how they killed him, as tough and as popular as he was. This is how Sonny Black wound up. This is his picture. I mean,
and you want to hear the ironic and maybe the I don't know the word, the craziness of this. This is how he wanted to die. If he was going to go out, this is how he wanted to die. And you say to yourself, you got to be out of your mind. But he was Cosa Nostra 100%, and that's how he died. He took his lumps and he died. I mean, it sounds crazy, but that's what he believed in.
And the part that really gets you is after the Brasco thing went down, he spent 4 more months on the street, Sonny, kind of negotiating for his life. But in reality, he knew what the final answer was going to be.
100%. Yeah. I saw, there's a lot of comments that people are saying, was Donnie Brasco a hero? Listen, Donnie Brasco was a rat. He went into, he infiltrated a crime family, and he did what he was supposed to do. But you got to remember, too, Joe Pistone, son, Donnie Brasco, believe it or not, he committed a lot of crimes when he was, infiltrating this crime family. And I don't know if he was ever held accountable for any crimes. But, there's, I'm not going to mention his name because I believe he's a retired agent. But he said that there was a lot of crimes that this Donnie Brasco committed, and he wasn't very well liked amongst his peers.
And they had to overlook these crimes that he committed. But in a way, didn't he have to commit these crimes?
Listen, I'm not saying what he did was right or wrong. The point I'm trying to make is that, if you're going to be an agent and you're going to be involved in that life and you're going to go up on the stand and crucify somebody for doing something when you were right there doing it with him, you have to bear some of that cross as well. And I don't think he did that.
And, we got some, Teddy says, Roger, the Army, some guy you don't know telling you to whack the other guy you don't know. Okay, I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's part of the life. I mean, your best friend is the guy that kills you. I mean, loyalty, there was no loyalty in this life. The guys that, really lasted in this life were guys that were, under bosses, or guys that got lucky, because this life is a, dog-eat-dog world, and everybody knows that. And, 90% of them don't come out alive, or they rat.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to pull up some. You got some good quotes out here, and we'll just go over them, guys. Messino's biggest mistake was making Vitali underboss.
Yeah, well, that was, yeah. Well, hey, listen, there was a lot of mistakes throughout Cosa Nostra, but obviously, you got guys that are made for this life, and you got guys that think they're made for this life, and then you got guys that are just no way, shape, or form part of the life. And, unfortunately, there's a lot of them now.
Yeah, and people, just so you know, if you want to donate to this show, you're more than welcome to. And also at the top of this, pinned to the top of this, is my link to my Cash App. And it's up to you guys. Okay. Let's see. Buffalo Billy. Okay, I don't know what that means, my man. So I'm just going to do Billy the Kid, Sonny went down like a man. He can't take it away from him. Danny's trio is telling it like it is, and Lee Cole's on the right side of history.
Thanks,
Thank
Bill.
you. And Messino took over when Rastelli died.
Correct.
Okay.
And, don't forget, too, Rastelli, he was a boss, but Galante really took over the boss, on the street, per se. But Rastelli, you got to remember, he did most of his life was in prison. Most of his life he did in jail. So, what kind of a boss was he really?
Messino was, listen, people, let's understand one thing. The feds never put anybody to death in an electric chair in what, 50 years, Danny?
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Listen, I can't talk. I can only talk about myself. When somebody's facing that kind of time, and you want to play gangster, and you want to be a boss of a crime family, and you don't want to go to jail, too fucking bad. You committed the crimes. You're going to go to fucking jail. Now, unfortunately, this bastard, he wanted to be a rat. And again, I believe, and this is only my opinion, I believe that most of these guys that do rat are rats to begin with. You don't just become a rat. It's just like, if you're, I'm not going to go into that because people are going to crucify me. But if you're looking at that substantial amount of time, but you're on the street committing murders, loan sharking, beating people up, robbing, then all of a sudden you get nailed and you're going to jail, then you become a coward. I don't understand that, and so that's my premise.
Especially if you're head of a family.
Yeah, just like Ravano. He was a rat before he even became a rat. It was just a matter of when and how much he was going to divulge when he got caught for whatever he did,
Okay, let's, we got, Messino was a scumbag. Vinny Gorgeous got the short end of that stick. What do you think of that statement?
He's right. Teddy's right. No question about it. I mean,
and how did Vinny get the short end of that stick?
Well, listen, Vinny Boggiano is doing a life sentence right now. He took his time like a man, but Messino sold him out as well. And they were close. So again, you want to talk about honor among thieves? You're not supposed to have it, whatever. But if you're gonna play a tough guy, be a tough guy. Don't be a coward and a punk. Take your lumps like every other body does.
Does anyone know why I can't post? You got Angel Gotti's in here, and just ask her on her show. I'm sure she'll take care of that down neck. Usually it's something simple. It's a simple reason. I don't even know what you mean here, dude. Danny, we must address the Mr. Philip Spade issue. He's very hurt. What are you talking about?
Well, I don't know who Philip Spade is, but
I have no idea what you're talking about.
If somebody can bring it to light on here, and we'll address it. I don't know what it is.
Sonny Black and Gotti both died Costa Nostra, without a doubt. And people, we got a Caneshade in here. We're going to bring him in, and we're going to change the discussion a little bit. But let me read some of these more. Some of these. John Malkovich is great. Oh, okay. I don't know. Okay, Whack married Jimmy Burke's daughter. It's rumored that that's where some of the money from Lufthansa heist went to.
Very well. I know they didn't recover all the money, so the money, was definitely out there. So maybe the money is there. I don't know.
Westy's $10. These accounts of mob history from Danny is amazing to listen to. This is content viewers enjoy. Thanks, Lee and Danny. Yes. And I'm going to say something. There was another content creator that made a stupid statement today, but he makes lots of stupid statements. So I'm going to tell you what he said. He said that if the drama went away, all these shows, including mine, would go away. That's what he said, Danny. He said that today. This show's not going to go away. Your show will go away without drama, but this show won't go away. We just did a half hour of real mob content. So speak for yourself. Speak for your own show. Okay?
Is this somebody that just started a show?
No, not that clown. This is the one that had the show. FBS. He said, I'll say his name. He basically said that if it's an excuse for the drama. If we didn't have drama, these shows would go away. No, your show would go away. Several shows on your side would go away. I can guarantee you, Angel Gotti's show would not go away. Angel would just go on to something else. Actually, if the drama went away, Angel's show would do better. So she can start actually doing stuff without being attacked. As for this show, Danny, we get about 40 or 50 people looking into our library every day.
Correct.
We have new responses to us every day.
Absolutely.
That's a library.
Exactly. Listen, guys gravitate to it. They want to look to see what it is. They sub to our channel. They like us. They don't like us. The fact of the matter is they're still going into our library and looking at the content. And if anybody doesn't like our fucking content, they can go fuck themselves. And if you're a panhandler, you want a cardboard sign, you're better off going on the street corner, because that's where your low lives. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like my show or this show or any other fucking show, get off YouTube. Because
I'll give you an example. When we put up our time at 6 o'clock, we were going on. Somebody else decided to come on a couple minutes before us.
Who gives a fuck, Lee?
We're at 275 people in here right now. So you could do all these silly little things, but this show is not going anywhere. And if the drama goes away, you guys might go away, but we're not going away. These old men are here to stay. Okay. Okay, let's see. I'm not a computer savvy. I would appreciate any. I want to make sure I'm not missing any. Let's see. Donnie Brasco was not a good movie. Hollywood destroyed that. Absolutely. See, here's the problem with Hollywood. They have a great script on Donnie Brasco. They don't have to change anything, but yet they change it, Danny.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know why they just don't go with the truth. And, I would appreciate that more than when they start embellishing and making things up to fit what they think will make a good movie. And in all actuality, it wasn't a good movie, in my opinion, because it was so inaccurate.
James William, really great show so far, guys. Glad to see that you're doing well with the hurricane, Danny. $5. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Listen, anybody out there that wants to fucking donate, do me a favor. Donate because you hate rats. And donate because Lee puts this together and he's good at it. And, I don't want no money. I want Lee to make the money because he's my friend. So if you want to donate, please do it. And it's for hating rats. That's what it's for. If you hate rats, $1, everybody, put it in the kitty, and we'll talk about them every day.
Frankie Lino, the rat, said this story. Sammy got it from Frank. Of course, Sammy didn't get it on his own. You don't think that, do you? Sammy gets a lot of his stories from other people. Okay, people, we're going to change the subject a little bit. Okay. Oh, look at this. Lee Sonny Black's daughter. Danny, why don't you work on that?
No, she won't come on. And listen, out of respect for her, she's a great woman. She has a great life, and she wants nothing to do with the mob. She wants to remember her father as a guy that came home every day and took care of her. I would love to interview her, but she's not one of them types.
Caneshade, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Great.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, I want to ask Danny Trio.
Hold on. Caneshade, can you turn your volume down a little bit?
Okay, hold on. Let me see.
Very loud.
All right. Can you hear me now? Is it too high?
Just talk a little bit low.
Okay.
It could be on
Can you hear me better now?
I turned mine down. Maybe my computer was too loud.
Okay, can you hear me now better? Or okay. Yeah, Danny, I wanted to ask you a question. Do you think that whole Donnie Brasco thing was just a form of entrapment?
It's a good point. I'm not a lawyer, but there was situations where that could be absolutely true. Absolutely.
All right.
Frankie Lino and Eddie Lee we're cousins from Avenue. Yeah, Frankie Lino has a lot of cousins and they're not really happy with him. But in the end, it never works out. Okay, so I seen your novella series, so I got a hold of you, and I wanted you to come on here and talk about it. And Danny, you seen his novella series, is that correct?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I really enjoy it, and the reason I enjoy it because these are facts. This is not embellishment. This is not innuendo. These are actual facts that he's putting out, and I'm a fan. I love every bit of it.
And one of the main facts is contradictory, especially the John Gotti thing. You know, you love John Gotti for a certain period of time, up to a couple months ago. You praised him like he was a king. And now, take over, Caneshade. Tell us what's going on.
Well, yeah. Well, I came up with this idea because people's probation officers were being called. So I said, you know what? I need to start documenting everything and putting everything from how all of this started, and then till now. It's probably going to take a few months to lead up till now, but that's what I'm going to do every week. I'm going to put something out every Thursday.
Okay.
And I got something working for you too, Lee. I got a video for you. We discussed something that we were gonna do. The Lee, I think it was Lee Cole Diaries.
Yes.
To document your journey on YouTube.
Yes, and we talked about that, and we're going to get into that. K Pellegrino, $5. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and I've gotten 2 cash apps. I don't got time to open the phone, but I'll get back to you guys, and thank you very much.
Hey, listen, I just want to tell anybody that donates, I appreciate it, and I really do, and I know Lee does. So don't think we don't appreciate any of you guys. Each and every one of you is important to us that subs to this channel. Even the assholes that don't sub, that talk shit, you've got some credit there too. But listen, anybody that donates to this show, it's very, very much appreciated. And again, I mean it. I really appreciate that.
In Chicago, you don't have to mention that right now. Don't even mention that other guy. He's not. His show does not affect this show. The people that listen to his show do not listen to this show. It's that simple. So please keep his name out of the chat right now because it's meaningless. Okay. Okay. So keep on. Caneshade, go on and tell us some more about this series.
Yes. Yes. So this is not to slander these video series that I'm doing. It's not to slander anyone. It's just to tell the truth. And it's coming from people's mouths. You know, the people that are in the video, it's coming from their mouths. So it's not to slander. It's what they said 9-10 months ago.
Okay,
It's what they said 11 months ago.
Give us an example of what people said 10 months ago and what they're saying now.
I mean, you got, certain people that like exactly what you said, that, they like someone and then they don't like someone. It's just very contradict. They're friends with someone and then they're not friends with someone. And then it's a lot of flip-flopping that's going on.
And we're all guilty of that here, but this is a different kind of flip-flopping. You're talking about a person that worshiped a man for 40 years of his life.
Yeah. And we're not talking about one particular person. It's everyone in this genre.
No, I'm talking about one particular person.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's not beat around the bush. Okay.
No, I'm saying the video series is not dedicated. What I'm trying to say is the video series is not dedicated on that particular person. That's what I'm trying to get out. You understand?
Yes. Paul Clinton, Lee, you just keep growing. I don't know what you mean by that. Which way am I growing? It's Danny and my show. And am I growing like physically?
Thanks a lot.
Or is the show growing? Yes. Yeah, look. Library, according to Lee. Okay. Scams my jams. See, we'll let you in here. I'll be a scammer if you want me to be.
I'll tell you what, Lee Cole's library is fantastic, and I get most of my content off the Mobtube novellas from his library. If you go back to his library, you'll get the truth right there on a lot of things. A lot of things that happen.
A lot of content in our library, not a lot of drama.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks a lot, Madeleine.
Are we guilty of doing drama here? Yes. Are we guilty of defending ourselves? Yes. But it's like Danny and I said today. I said, Danny, let's give them a good half hour, 40 minutes of a mob story. And that's what we did, people. That's our job. That's what we want to do for you. And then we go on from there. And after the mob show, if people don't want to hang around, they don't have to. It's up to you guys. $10 from D's Guns, Donate
Thanks,
if
these
you
guys.
got love
Much
for Lee and
appreciated, man.
Danny. Thank you.
Thank you.
Scum of Mobtube. Scum of Mobtube, you got great content, by the way. If people check him out. Hey, Lee and Danny, good to see you bring out good content.
Thank you.
Okay.
You bring out great content, and I appreciate what you did, and it's very informing. And keep doing what you're doing. If you need any help, you let me and Lee know.
Yes, and James Williams, thank you very much. A really great show so far, guy. Glad to see you doing well in the Hurricane Danny.
Thank you, James. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Please consider. Hey, Boot Hill, can you do me a favor? Can you go over to or somebody here? One of you guys go over to the information. Grab the link for Caneshades show, and please put it up.
Definitely. Thank you.
Please get
Yeah,
that.
please. Caneshades puts a lot of work. He's a smart guy, and I like him. He's my friend, and I would really appreciate if everybody would sub to his channel. He's got great stuff.
And Caneshades, I've seen this series, a very brilliant series. How do you feel when they call you stupid? Because they call me stupid too. But
Yeah.
we can.
Well, I don't pay no mind to that. One of my favorite shows when I was a kid was Columbo, where he plays stupid.
Right.
Yeah, so I like them. I like people to think that I'm stupid.
Hey, back in the days, I used to smoke pot, right?
Yeah.
Especially when Columbo was on. I remember I used to smoke a joint and sit down and watch Columbo. And you're there trying to figure, you're high and you're like watching Columbo. And you're trying. I used to love Columbo when I smoked a joint because it was so clever. You just have to watch it and your head's going. You just smoked a joint and you're putting things in your head. That's how good this show was.
Yeah, I like the element of surprise. I like people to think that I'm stupid. I'm actually a fantastic chess player, believe it or not.
I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah.
And that's what you let them do. Let them think you. People that have to say how smart they are, people that say, "Oh, I'm the best at this," are the people that really are not. And we hear that from certain shows that I'm the best, we're the best, I do this the best. It sounds kind of silly. Maybe you should really cut that out.
Yeah, too much pride leads to self-destruction.
Yeah. Don't flatter yourself. Donate for the hating rats and driving the dope man. Please consider supporting the show. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Boot Hill. Thank you.
Blotto, $2. We appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Blotto, thank you, pal. Thank you, man.
Lori Love, great show. Danny and Lee can't type driving. Keep up with the awesome content. See you all later on Angel's show.
Thanks, Lori Love. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, last night I was on Angel's show and people told me that I was loved with a woman that was a man at one time. But I don't think that's true. Muscle, I still don't see your evidence.
Angel's show, you were right. And Angel's show is fantastic. And if the drama would go away, it would even be better because she's limited. She's limited on certain things that she could do. You imagine she could, if she wanted to, she can interview her mom. Would be a fantastic interview. She could talk about cooking with her brother. There's so much things that she could do, but because of the drama, she doesn't want to, do certain things because of the drama.
Cuban B. Undercovers aren't legally allowed to commit crimes like Brasco did. You're absolutely
yes.
Right. Richie, this is a great, Danny, if you want to answer this. I love to know how Joe Pistone lives with himself knowing Sonny Black died since he was the one that got him murdered.
Well, listen, Joe Pistone, in his mind, he to make himself feel better, he says he was doing his job, so he has no, ill remorse for what happened or what, But on the flip side, I did read something to the fact that he was on another podcast and he said that he did feel a certain type of way when Sonny was killed. But you got to be less of a human if you don't have some kind of feelings about somebody that you worked side by side with for 6 years and you did crimes with.
And we don't know how he felt. Well, we don't know how he feels to this day. Maybe it does bother him.
But you got to understand. You got to have if you have any compassion for anybody, you have to have some kind of feeling when you were side by side with a guy for 6 years. That's just my opinion. You know,
For 42 years, you love John Gotti, then suddenly hate him because you have a fight with his daughter. I can't say it better. Angel Gotti, regardless, I can't post on your live. I always hit the like button. Hey, Angel Gotti, can you look into Down Neck Newark Bronco to see if he's blocked?
he's a good guy.
Hey, we've never had no issues with him at all. And sometimes it's not Angel that blocks you. It's somebody that has a personality conflict with you. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna put this one up for you, Caneshade.
All right.
Remember when Caneshade said Tony Soflo was the real deal?
Yes. All right. So when Tony Soflo first came out, I feel, man, I don't even want to fucking really talk about this shit, but I'll address it. I was under the impression that he was going to talk about stories in the 80s, the Pink Pussycat, Calle Ocho. I thought he was going to be like a Joey Diaz kind of thing. And he said his channel was anti-rat. I felt that I was deceived because I thought it was going to be some straight Miami, shit, that we're going to get, some real good Miami content. Then he went into the direction as far as informants with Calandra. I don't care what anyone says. Down here in Miami, people don't associate with informants. I don't care about the changing the lives and all this. No one associates. Well, if you're real deal on the streets here in Dade County, you do not associate with informants. It is what it is.
Yep. Okay.
And then when I seen that, I kind of stepped away a little bit.
And I'm going to be honest with you. When I first seen him, I liked him.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was, without a doubt, he is talented, but he's taken his talent in a certain direction. He says he's calling people out that deserve to be called out. I've never did nothing to him to be called out. Danny never did nothing to him to be called out. So he wants to call us out. So I don't think you could really say that. It's not really a good answer. Okay. Does someone have something? On?
I hear that. Let me see.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Danny?
Can you hear me?
A little bit louder.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Caneshade, turn that back on. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, there's still an echo.
Well, we'll do the best we can.
Well, I'll hop off if it's the echoes.
Hold up. Testing. 1, 2, 3. No, hold up 1 second. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Yeah, Danny, when you went off and came back on, you're coming in darker. Can you do it again?
Yeah, I'll come back in.
Okay. Thank you, Danny. Okay, Caneshade. Well, let's read some of these. Matty Marinara. They can't handle the truth, and there's a lot, that's a fact. Yes. I'm not going to. A matter of fact, Bill Catullo today. I'm not going to get into what was happening behind the scenes yet, but as I made a promise to someone close to Bill Catullo, I wouldn't do that. But Bill Catullo called me a effing fat slob.
Ay.
On that show over there today. So Bill Catullo, I wasn't even mentioning you, dude. What the hell is your problem? Because now you created a problem, a bad problem, Bill Catullo. You had a friend of yours sticking up for you and trying to straighten things out. And not only you betrayed him, just like you betrayed everybody else, because you are a snitch and a rat. And you just ratted and snitched and betrayed your friend. And as my word to him, I'm not going to mention his name. But should anybody be surprised that that's what Bill Catullo does?
Oh, man.
Okay. Well, I was shocked. I'm like, I haven't even been talking about this guy. And then he starts cursing about me.
Wow, this was today?
Yeah, cursing.
Yeah, like upset, really mad?
He was acting like a tough guy, It's
Did
like,
he have a cigar in his mouth?
Well, here's the thing. He started a show called 11th Avenue. podcast, and it's a flop. It's not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's not my fault it's not doing anything. It's his fault for making a bad decision. He decided to side with certain people that were not going to help his podcast. He had an opportunity to have a great podcast, but he chose certain people that were going to prevent him from having a great podcast. You know, when Sammy Gravano started in this, and John A. Light and all those guys, the rats controlled this. Then all of a sudden, people that weren't rats were coming in and countering these guys.
Yes. Yes.
And so now these rats don't have the power they once did.
Mm.
They're losing it.
Yes.
And so
they get a little push. They get a little pushback, and then they get butthurt, and then they get other content makers now to dox people. That's what's going on.
And Bill Catullo came on here and did a show with us. People loved the way he talked. He corrected himself, and people were willing to give him a chance and accept him because he explained his reasoning. And then what did he do? He ran over to the biggest rat on YouTube, Jimmy Calandra. That whole side. So basically, he screwed him and his partner from any chance of having a good podcast. He's his own worst enemy. He's self-destructive.
Yeah, if you want to have I think what I'm watching now, and I'm getting all this, you know, if you want to have a successful rat podcast, the best thing is stay away from this genre and all this nutcase stuff. Like if you want to have a successful rat channel, you know,
just come in and do your thing.
Yeah, but getting involved in all this other stuff, if you have a rat channel, it's not going to go nowhere.
I love this one. Peter Falk, a Jewish actor that played Italian tough guys in 100 roles. Johnny Bradfield, my father was friends with Peter Falk. Peter Falk lived with his mother in Ossining, New York, and they knew each other quite well. He was a very nice man. My father knew him, and he also knew Burgess Meredith, and the three of them used to go and drink at a bar a couple days a week. So can you imagine Burgess Meredith hanging out with Peter Falk, having beers? Tony Obutz, I thank you. And okay, let's see. I just heard another ring on my Cash App people. Thank you very much. It's circumstantial with Terry. Okay, I'm not going to talk about that. FBS's ego has gotten so big, it's hilarious. He thinks he's world-class debated, yet in a microchip community with nobody who has he debated. He's never been tested. Well, DP, listen, these guys are going to say what they want. It's not going to stop. It's a continuous thing. It's their mistake. They're hurting them. You know, they put themselves where they can only do one thing now. No one's going to take them serious on anything else. And they can insult me, call me names, pull up my record. Dude, my record's cleaner than you guys' records. Isn't it amazing, Caneshades? You see some of these guys' records and the sleazy shit they have on it?
It's crazy.
You don't see any of that sleazy shit on my record?
No. You got the Walmart thing? What is it, Lee?
No, it's not even on my... Oh, not that. That was fake. You look at my record. Anybody can pull up my record and see my crimes. They were crimes. You don't see no women beating there. You don't see no... none of that stuff. You don't see no domestic abuse. You don't see no drunk driving. You don't see any of that stuff on my record. Are there charges? Yeah, there's lots of charges on there. I was a criminal, but I was committing crimes. I wasn't beating women. I wasn't doing the things that these guys have on their records. And they have a nerve to pull up my record. It's like, are you serious?
And you haven't committed a crime in 10 years, no, Lee?
I don't commit crimes no more. Do you ever see me on my show pulling up people's criminal records?
No, I really never see. Yeah.
I would never do that. That's a pussy move. Why would you pull up people's shit like that? Who does that?
Crazy people.
Yeah, exactly. You're pulling up people's records. And then I know what they're going to say. Well, they're going to say, well, Chicago does it. But, you know, if you go at him and you're looking to pull up his stuff and get him, you guys are going to do it back and forth to each other. But why do you guys pull up records of people that aren't even doing anything to you? if I argue with you, you're going to try to turn me into a child molester, call me all these names that I'm not, a drug addict. I pop pills. You're going to try to say all that shit. None of it's true. So,
And some of these sites that they're getting this information from, there's sites called people look up, been verified. They have to sign an agreement that they're not supposed to dox. Or like the information that they receive there, they can't show it to the public. They have to do an agreement before they give the whatever $20-$30 a month.
well, let me tell you what kind of people they are. FBS literally did a show about me going 30 miles to buy a gyro.
A what?
A gyro. A SeaWorld gyro. You know what a gyro is? Come on, you got to know what a gyro is. So he made fun. Him and his little lackeys and saying, "Fat Lee, how many did he get? 2, 3, whatever." And I'm thinking to myself, is that what your show's about? About how far I drive for a gyro?
Oh man,
really need new material. Really need new material.
see, I don't know. Well, why don't they just stick what they know best? Just interview informants and stay away from drama. I don't understand, because that's their thing. They like, that's their thing. Why don't they just get? Oh, there's an echo.
Danny, how you doing?
Good, Billy. What's up? Can you hear me?
Okay, let's read some more of this. Here's what I'm going to do, Danny. Danny, I'm going to mute you. Then when I answer your question, I'm going to turn it on.
All right.
Okay, sorry, people. As you know, Danny just had that bad storm down there, so I'm sure a lot of people's internet's messed up. Listen, I'm not going to talk about Bill Catullo's children. Don't bring up Bill Catullo's children in here, please. It's just they're children, man. I mean, sure, he's an older guy, his child, but that's their business. If Bill Catullo and I want to go at it personally, fine, but I will never bring up Bill Catullo's children. Danny, do you think anybody should be bringing up anybody's children?
No, not at all. And, if you have a problem with somebody, address them. The kids have nothing to do with it.
Okay, and they stick together. Yeah, well, we're going to stick together now too, and we're not going to be as friendly as we were, especially when some of the things they're saying.
Well, Lee, I'm gonna bounce, man. Thanks for having me on here, man, and promoting my new little thing that I got going on. Hopefully, you'll come on the show tomorrow night, the bodega tomorrow night.
I will be on your show tomorrow night.
All right, thanks for having me, and a big shout out to everyone in the chat. And I'm out of here. All right, Danny.
His podcast just started a few weeks ago, a bit too early. No, I'll declare it a failure. Danny, do you think his podcast is going to make it, Bill Catullo?
Not at all. It ain't gonna go nowhere.
What's the main reason why you don't think it's going to go anywhere?
Clown. What relevancy does he have? He wasn't a gangster. He wasn't a made man. All he did was hang out in the gym and take steroids and steal his father's money. He knows it's true.
Danny, can you get closer to your phone, your voice?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, listen, he can say what the fuck he wants to say. Number one, he's not a tough guy. If you punch him in his chest, you'll kill him. He's got about 9 fucking pegs in his back. So he shouldn't be talking shit. Because if anybody ever ran up on him, he'd fucking scream like a bitch and call 911. He's a punk.
When are you going to grow up like me and Lee in big cities like New York? People are literally everywhere every day, and it's not even a big deal now. People, that is the link to Caneshades show. Please go over there and sub, because that Novella series, I watched the first two videos. They're very good, and they're definitely worth watching. I don't know Jimmy Calandra, but I'm from the neighborhood, and I know guys who knew him when he was a kid. He was a rat. End of story. Danny?
Of course, another. Jimmy Calandra has no relevancy whatsoever. He's been proven to be a fucking liar and a big mouth. He's killing everybody, and he hasn't stepped to anybody yet. He's such a tough guy. How come he hasn't stepped to anybody? But I guarantee you, if you threaten him on YouTube, you're going to have a problem because he's a rat.
Okay, they are putting up people's addresses in cars. Danny, what do you think about this?
They put up people's addresses. Why don't they come to the address they put up? He's a tough guy. He's behind a computer. And listen, I'm not professing I could beat up King Kong, but not one of these motherfuckers, one of these big shots that proclaim to be who they are going to do nothing. They pick on women. Okay? They pick on kids. Okay? They embellish. They lie. But if you do something to them, they call 911. Look at the proof. They want to call probation officers and parole officers. These are punks. That's all they are. They're failures in life. They panhandle for money. They're punks. What do you think?
Okay, what do you think of this? Where are the respectful you? You made a lot of changes, and thanks, Danny. Love the show.
Thanks, Hilario. You're muted, Lee.
Yeah, he's made it through, people.
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, down there.
What do you think about this one?
Yeah, that's all you got on here. This platform is the rat platform. And if you say something they don't like, right away they're going to threaten you and beat you up. But you got to remember where it's coming from. These are all failures in life. The only thing they did in their life was rat. They're failures. That's what they are. Every single one of them.
And once again, people, I apologize. Like I said, that Danny had he was good enough to come on his show today despite the storm, which he's in the middle of. Okay. Well, today, people, we're going to end the show early because of the internet.
Sorry, man.
But Danny, you want to take off? I'll say goodbye to everybody. And
take care.
I'll talk to you shortly. Okay, people, we got to give Danny a lot of credit because he's in the middle of that storm. It got really bad last night. So they're having all sorts of trouble out there. He's lucky his electric's on. So when I knew when he came on today, he was going to probably have more trouble. Danny sometimes has issues with his internet, but I knew he was going to have more than usual today. I'll read some of these, and then before we take off, and before I leave, if anybody wants to donate or send something to my Cash App, please feel free. And to the people that have sent something to Cash App today, thank you so much. Sean, JC has never had it. No, we're not going to talk about JC. He's not even worth talking about, people. He's JC. Roy DeMeo should be on Mount Rushmore. What are you kidding me, dude? What, Mount Rushmore of killers? He would be right next to Jeffrey Dahmer. If you guys watch the Jeffrey Dahmer series, they should have a Roy DeMeo series. Yes, he does. And their story is just like Walt Disney. Donate, please, for hating rats, driving at the dope man. Please consider supporting the great host. Mike, I saw Wait Till Dark, the movie theaters, and my father. The whole theater jumped and screamed when he leaped out of the dark. A kid went to Frank Cali's house, Danny, and caught him lacking. Well, Frank Cali got killed by a nut job. You know, you just never know when it's your time, people. Sad to say, I think Cthulhu's channel will do good. No, people, I don't. Let me tell you why it's not gonna. You can say whatever you want. Because he sided with a certain group of people. They don't have the same power they once had. These are rats. They don't have the power they used to have. Jimmy Calandra doesn't get the same numbers he used to get. But none of these guys are, there's two people that you can think of in this. Sammy Gavano is Sammy Gavano. He was actually somebody. So he's always going to get numbers. Michael Francis, he was somebody. He was a head of a family. So he's going to always get numbers. But after that, you don't have mob guys on here. Why do you, I'll tell you why Mikey Scars is doing good. Because he's not trying to say that he wasn't a rat. He's not doing the shit these other rats do. He's minding his own business and doing his own thing. That's why he's successful. But if he started acting like Bill Cthulhu, running around, calling people names and shit, same thing's going to happen. Okay, let's see what else is here. Billy Kid, thank you for saying that, because Danny, to come here today, I was very surprised because Danny, that area has a lot of issues going on right now. And as if you watch the news and stuff, as you could see, that storm did a lot of damage. And people, last night, Aaron Judge hit his 61st home run. You know what I was thinking? Aaron Judge was adopted. That mother and father that adopted Aaron Judge when he was a little baby, can you imagine they had no idea what kind of child they were adopting? Who he was, how big he was going to be, what a great player he was going to be. And he says that they're just like his real mother and father because they raised him from a baby. I mean, that's an amazing story in itself with Aaron Judge. Yes, that was really good. Showtime or HBO, maybe Netflix should have a Roy DeMeo series. I bet you, yes, they should. They should actually do a movie on Roy DeMeo. A good movie, not one of these weird movies. Something like maybe the way they did the Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix and break it up into sections. That would be really good. Or make a movie based on the book, but a really good movie. Roy was a terrible man. He went to his death, knew it was coming. Yep, he was a terrible man, James Weldon. You can't describe him any other way. They killed the rats by accident, FBI, Harambe. Okay. We're going to get to the end here. Yeah, people, please hit the like button if you haven't hit the like button now. And like I said, thank you for the donations and everything, people. And we'll be back probably Saturday. We're going to try to do more lives. We've been doing more lives. We appreciate everything you guys do for us. And I like to say thank you right now. And please, just hit the like button. Whoever donated, thank you. And everybody take care and have a nice night.